Hello besties, welcome back to my channel. So in this video, we'll be learning how to make this beautiful two-piece, but this is part one of it, and we'll be making only the shorts in this video. It is very beginner friendly, very detailed. You can see the length of the video. That's because I took my time explaining while cutting. Okay, so as at this point I have not ironed it before putting on my dummy because there is no light. So let's get started. So to get started in making the shorts, here are my measurements. Okay, so I have my waist measurement is 33. If I divide it by 4, it will give me 8.025, but I'm using 8.5 approximately. Okay, so the hip measurement is 40, but I'm using 42 because it's meant to be a free short, not fitted, and I still feel like the 42 is too small. I can decide to add extra half inch to it. So if you divide 42 by 4, you get 10.5. I can decide to make it 11 because I really want it free. Okay, so when we're drafting, we'll do that. Then the full length of the short is 19 inches. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is, for this towel measurement, we don't need it because we are not making a fitted short. Okay, if you're making a fitted short, that's when you'll be needing your towel measurement. So now let's go ahead and draft. So here, the edge of the paper is going to serve as the waistline. Here is the hip line. Let me label it. Then here is the crush. Okay, so how did I get it? Now, to get your hip height, it depends on the size of the person you're working with. Okay, but I'm using 8 inches. The standard is 8 inches. If you're working with somebody that has bigger hips, or the person is very tall, you can use 9 inches. Okay, so from there, how did I get my crush depth? How did I get the crush depth? So what I did to get my crush depth, I divided the hip, which is 40, divide by 4 plus 1 inch. Okay, so if you divide 40 by 4, it will give you 10, plus 1 inch will give you 11. Okay, so but I used 11.5 here. Why? Because you know, I'm making a free short, and it's just going to be free. So what it means is that since it's going to be free, the cross should not just come straight to her crush length and her crush this thing resting there. So if the remaining part is free, I want to drop the crush a bit by half an inch. So that's what I did there. Okay, so that's why I made it 11.5. So here is 11.5. So after doing that, the next thing you will do now, take her hip measurement. Her hip measurement is 10.5, but like I said before, I'm going to make it 11 inches. So here is 11 inches, not this one. Here is 11 inches. To the crush length, I will also mark 11 inches. Now, don't forget that the only part I'm adding to is the hip and the remaining part of the short. The waist still remain the same because the waist is going to be fitted. Okay, so now this 11 inches, I will extend it upwards. Okay, I'll go to the waistline and I will measure 11 inches here. So what I will do now is to connect a straight line from the waist straight to the crush length like this. So after doing that, on the crush length, I will extend it a bit. I'll extend it a bit. So this part we really do not need. Okay, we can still leave it though. So I will extend it a bit. Now we have to get the crush curve. Okay, that curve that comes like this for the crush, we have to get it. So how do you get the main length for it? So whatsoever you have here, this is 11 inches, divided by 4. So first of all, I'll fold my tape into 2. Okay, so after getting the midpoint, the half of the tape, now I'll go ahead and also fold it into 2. So whatsoever it gives to me is what I will extend the crush with. So if your measurement here is 10 inches, divide the 10 inches by 4, it will give you 2.5. Extend it by 2.5. Okay, so whatsoever I have now, I will go ahead and extend it with it. So I'm having 2.75 as the crush extension. So after extending it, I will grab my curve ruler. I'll grab my curve ruler and make a curve from this point straight to this point. Okay, so that is just serving as a guide. So I'll curve it like this. right? So after curving it like this, on the waist part it is 8.5. So her measurement is starting from this end, okay? So from here now I will measure 8.5, but okay, I will just go ahead and make it a dartless short. So I will go ahead and measure 8.5 here like this, okay? So after measuring it there, I will connect from this point to the hip line with my curve ruler. So this is my hip curve ruler. I call it hip curve ruler because it actually really works very well in curving my hips. So this is what we have, okay? So after curving it like this now, we will extend the full length of the short. So we're using 19 inches. So don't forget that it's going to carry a band. So what I will do, I'm using 18 inches. I will reduce it to 18 inches. Okay, I will just leave it fully for 19 inches because I'm going to be folding it. And when I fold it, I'm going to be folding like 2 inches out of it. So I will mark 19 inches. And my band is going to be 2 inches wide also. So I will mark 19 inches for the full length. So after that, now you see the towel measurement. You can decide to use it. Like I said from the beginning, I said I wasn't going to use it, right? But you can decide to use it. If you use the towel measurement, it's going to give you 6.35, let's say 7 inches. See, it's going to be very fitted. That's if you are making a fitted trouser. But here we are not making a fitted trouser. So I am thinking of using the same measurement I use for the hip. So it is 11 inches in total for the hip. So if I come up here to mark 11 inches or probably 11.5, so that the lower part of it will be very free, okay? So I'll go ahead and connect it like this, or probably you can just leave this measurement and the cross measurements to be the same. So it's just going to be straight. But I don't want mine like that, so I'm going to curve it. So when you curve, this is what you have. So like this now, this is the front pattern, okay? The front pattern is ready, but I will be doing my I will be adding a pocket to it, okay? So now to get the width of your pocket, it is 2.5. Then you come down by 5 inches, okay? Then you can decide to make it lower than that, but that's the standard. You come down by 5 inches. So you go ahead and so when you want to cut this part, we'll be cutting this part away by the time we want to cut on our fabric, okay? So this part is going to serve as the pocket area, okay? So now after doing that, I will just go ahead and cut this part out so we can use it to draft the back pattern, okay? So the front pattern is ready. I'll just prepare the pattern paper for the back pattern. Okay, so here is my fresh paper, right? And this is the front pattern. I already attached my tape to the edges because I will tape it to this one. So what I will have to do now is I will just place it on this line. You see this line? That's where it is starting from. I'll go ahead and place it on the line. Okay, so now I've attached it to this fresh paper, okay? So you will see the reason why we are leaving this line, okay? So the next thing you will do now, you see this crush part, you have to extend it because we are creating another crush for the back pattern. Okay, so you extend it, then you will come to this waistline. To this waistline here, come here and mark 2 inches. You will also come to the hip line and mark 2 inches. So you will connect. So I'm just going to extend this line also so that it will be straight, right? So how do we get the crush for the back? So whatsoever measurements you got for this one, for the front crush, whatsoever measurements you got, you add half an inch to it. So the measurement is 2.75. So if I add half inch to it, it will give me 3.25. So I will extend from this edge now. I will extend the back crush 3.25. Then after marking the 3.25 here, from that 3.25, I will come down by half an inch, okay? So take note of that. You come down from the 3.25, come down by half an inch and connect from here to this point. So we're connecting from the half an inch we came down with. Can you see? So after connecting it like this, if you can do it with your hand, you can use free hand just to connect it to this point. So from there now, I will measure 2 inches. You see these 2 inches we measured here? We are extending it straight to the hem of the short, okay? So I will come over here and measure 2 inches. Now you can use this same pattern to make your trouser. But if you want more detailed explanation, I'll be dropping link of my pencil trouser and my palazzo trouser in the description box in case you are new to my channel and you've not seen it. So you see these 2 inches now, we'll be connecting from this point to these 2 inches. Okay, so I'll go ahead and connect it like this. So the line I left here is 3 inches wide. The paper I left here is 3 inches wide. Now the reason why, because the back side of the short we have to extend it, because if you wash well, the back side of your trouser is not equal with your front at the waist part. Okay, that's because when you sit down it drags down. So in order for your bum bum or your undies not to expose, you go up by 2 inches from this waistline. Go up by 2 inches like this. Okay, then you mark it. So from that 2 inches, you will connect from these 2 inches to this waistline here with your straight ruler. Okay, so you just connect like this. So after that, the back pattern is fully done. You see how simple it is, because I used the front to draft the back pattern, so it made it very easy. So I will just go ahead and cut it out, then go and cut on my Ankara fabric, then we can now go to the sewing together. Okay, so let me do the cutting for us to see how to cut it so we don't make mistake. Okay, so you can see how I'm cutting it. So this pattern is for a dartless pant. Now I like using the dartless pattern when I'm making a free trouser, but even if you use it for a fitted trouser, it will still come out nicely. So I will soon do a pattern with that on my channel for us to see also. So you can see what we have. The front and the back pattern of the short is ready like this. Okay, so this is the back and this is the front. If you want, you can trace the lines on the back pattern, but it doesn't really matter. Just carry your pattern, cut on your fabric. So I will cut, then we'll go to the sewing together. Since we've cut, remember that the front pattern is carrying pockets, and we've already cut that out yesterday, but I had to fold it because I don't want to trash the pattern. Okay, so the next thing we'll be doing now is to cut a pocket for the front. we've already created the space for the pocket, so we need another pieces to cut the pocket exactly the same way we want it. So okay, so we're going to cut the pocket. This is the extra fabric I have. Okay, so I just folded it like this so that from here will serve as this other pocket, then this one for the other side, because you know it's going to be double. Okay, so what I will do, the first two that will fit into this part, I will go ahead and mark. So I'll be using my paper like this. Okay, so I can get the right volume that we cut away. I'll go ahead and mark it. So the other part that we'll be cutting now, this is one part of the pocket already. So we'll be cutting another one with the curve. Then this edge, you will have to notch it. You know it's 5 inches from the waist. So you have to notch it. So we've gotten this part and this other part. So what we have to do now is to cut them, because I don't want it so big. It's extended to the crush area, the flap area. So I will have to make it smaller because it's too wide like this. So by the time I go ahead to attach it to it, this is what it will look like. It will not be extending towards this side. Okay, now people do their pockets different ways, different shape. You can decide to curve it. Okay, so anyhow you want it, you can decide to do it that way, but I'll just leave mine like this. So we'll go to the next step. So to sew the pockets now, the first thing we'll have to do now is you spread the front pattern open. Spread it open on the right side. Okay, so you bring this other part of the pocket that has the cutting as this part, you bring it also, then you place it right side facing right side like this. Right side facing right side. Run a stitch down to this point. Do the same thing to this other side. I will go ahead to the machine now. Run a stitch down to this point. So I will do that in my machine, then I will come back and show us the next step. I've gone ahead to do that. You can see it like this. I've gone ahead to run the straight stitch like this. I flip it open, you can see that it's already sewn. Right, so the next thing I will do now is I will flip it to the right side like this. Then you see this joining part, I will push it to the short part. If I flip it like this, I will push this joining part towards this side, and run a very tiny stitch like I'm top stitching on it. Okay, so I'll go ahead and do that, and I'll also do that for this side. Then we can go to the next step. Okay, so now I've gone ahead to do the top stitch. I've done the top stitching, very tiny. Okay, So if you flip it, if you spread it, this is what we have. So the top stitch I did is just so you can relax well on this side, okay? You can decide not to do your top stitching, you iron with your hemming gum, just iron it down, but this place has to relax well. So for now there is no light for me to iron, so I'm not going to iron now. So the next thing we'll have to do now, this other part of the pocket has to come in. So it's coming in like this. So this one has to come in like this. So what you do is, at this point, make sure that this edge and this edge is meeting, okay? So you bring them together like this. So you just arrange it together like that. Then you also make sure that the sides is arranged too, okay? So what you would do now is, I'll just go to the machine and join it to this part. So we're joining the three together. We're joining this one, we're joining this one and this one together. So I'll go to the machine now, join the three parts together and end here. Then on this side, you can see the side. This side also, we are going to be joining the three parts together also. So I'm going to run a straight stitch like this to this part, okay? So I'll go and sew here and here, then I'll come back, we'll do the next. So after that, I've gone ahead to join here, but I left half an inch. Can you see it? Then I've also joined this part and I also left half an inch, okay? So what we are going to do now, I will open it up like this, then I will run a straight stitch down to this point and also come at this edge. So I'm just going to sew it all around, sew it all through. Then when I'm done, I will flip it back and tighten this place back, and also tighten this place back, because you know we left half an inch just so we can join this point and this point. So I'll go ahead and do that. I'll repeat the same thing for the other part of it, then we can go to the next stage. Okay, now I've gone ahead to join it both sides. I've run across this place and this other side also. So I've done the same thing for this one. So the next thing I will do now, I will put it together, right side facing right side, okay? This is the right side of this one, this is the right side of this other one. Right side facing right side. I will bring the both of them together, then I will go ahead and sew this part with half an inch. Now please remember that we added 2 inches to the back pattern while we were drafting, okay? So it is that 2 inches that is serving for the allowance. You know, if I take half inch here, half inch on this other one, 1 inch is gone, okay? So when you're sewing, make sure you sew half inch so that it can fit in properly, okay? So I will do the same thing for the back pattern. Here is the back pattern. It's already placed right side facing right side. I will go ahead and close the crotch part. Then after that, we go to the next step. So I've gone ahead to join the front and back. So when you spread it, this is what you have. This is the back. And this is the front. You can see that it is already coming together nicely. And this is the pocket we've just created, okay? So the next thing you will do now is for us to join this flap area, the crotch length. So you bring this one, the front and the back together, okay? So you place them on each other, run a straight stitch, run a straight stitch. I'll do that and come back. So after sewing the crotch area, I went ahead to join the sides together. Let me turn it to the wrong side so that we'll understand what I've done. So I went ahead to join the sides together after joining the part. So I joined the sides together. I just put the sides together. Then when you flip it to the right side, so this is what you have. This is what we have. Now you can see how nice it is already turning out to be. So the next step now is to go and cut the band that will go around it. We need to attach a band. Then again, on this, the back side, you know the zip is going to be on the back side. I'm going to loosen the back side a bit. I will lose it down a bit, but I have to get my zip to know the extent I'm losing it to. Then we can now go and cut the band. So here is the zip, okay? And the band I'm making is going to be 2 inches long. So from here, I'll mark 2 inches, okay? So this 2 inches now is what I'll be starting from this edge like this before I will now determine where I want the zip to stop. So I will mark here. So when I'm losing, I will lose it and stop here because this is where the zip will stop at. So I'll just go off the camera and lose it so that we can cut the bands together. So I've gone ahead to open where the zipper will fit in. So the next thing, I will just go ahead to cut the band. So here is the fabric I kept for the band. Now the band is about, I want it to be 2 inches, okay? So what I did was that the width I have here is 6 inches for the width. The width is 6 inches, okay? The reason why is because I will be folding it, okay? The band is going to be on fold. And when you measure it on fold, it gives you 3 inches, okay? So I'm going to sew it and turn it to the other side, and you know it's no longer going to be 3 inches, okay? So now we have to measure the waist round to know the full length of the band that we need. So it's giving me 35 inches, measuring it round. So for us not to, I will fold this one into 2 so that it will be way easier because my table is not that long. So now 35, now I'll divide 35 by 2, okay? Because the fabric is into 2. So if I divide 35 by 2, this is what we have, okay? That's 17.5. So from this 17.5 now, I will just make it 18 inches because we'll need half an inch because we'll be joining this part also. So we'll be needing the half inch. So I'll go ahead and mark 18 inches. Just rule a straight line. Then I'll go ahead and cut. So after cutting, what I will do now is to go to my machine. I'll flip it to the right side. This is the right side. So I'll flip it like this on the wrong side. So on the wrong side now, I'll go to the machine. I will join here with half inch, and I will also join here with half inch. The other half inch we added to make it 18. So I'll go and join both ends. So here is the band. I've gone ahead to join both ends of the band. So I will flip it to the right side. Okay. So for now, there is no light for me to iron. I would have just gone straight to iron it. I like ironing it at this point before attaching it. But I really do not have time because my client is taking her work and I want to meet up with deadline. So this is what we have. Okay. So how to attach it? On this back part where the zipper is going to be, bring your band like this. If you're used to my video, you know this is how I attach my band. I don't just put the band like this, okay? I don't just put it and sew it because I don't want to weave the waist part. I want it to be neatly done, okay? So what you do, open it up. Make sure you have your pins with you. Make sure you have your pins with you. Here is my pin. So you just open it up. Open it up like this, okay? Then you place it like this. So you make sure that, can you see what I've done? So you just place it like that. Make sure that the edge is meeting with the other edge. So you just place it correctly before you go ahead to sew. Okay, so that's how we'll spread it open. You can see that this part is not added to it. Okay, so it's only this part. So put it around it like this and sew it to this other zipper edge. So I'll go ahead and do that and come back. So after sewing it round, can you see? After sewing it round, I've sewn it all round. This is the center back. So you flip it to the right side. So after flipping it to the right side, the next thing you will do now, you are starting from this center back again. Okay, so you go ahead, you see this joining you've made before, push it in like this. Okay, then bring this part and fold it in. Can you see what I've done? You're folding it like this on top of this first stitch that we made. Okay, so you fold it on it like this. Go ahead and pin it. So this is how you will fold it on the other stitch, on the first stitch, and pin it all round. Then after that, after pinning it all round, I will go straight to the sewing machine and sew it, and sew it round also. You can see what I'm doing. So this is what you're going to do to it. You see the way I'm doing it? This is what you do to it all round. Then when you're done pinning it, you can see the other side of it, right? So when you're done pinning it, you place it on your machine like this. Then you run a straight stitch on it. Okay, so I'll go ahead and do that off camera. So here we are. You can see the pins inside of it, right? So now I'll go ahead and remove all the pins. I've gone ahead to sew it. After pinning it down, I went ahead to sew it. So I will remove the pins, then I'll go ahead and fix the zip. Then we are done with the video. Then I will show you the outcome of my dummy. And after attaching the zip, here is the final outcome of our short on the dummy. You can see how beautiful it is. If you like this video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up. Bye.